This is Tyler Robinson, a 22-year-old from Utah. He's now at the center of one of the most shocking cases to grip the nation this week, the killing of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk. What makes this story even more unsettling is how quickly it unfolded. Surveillance images, a father's recognition, a desperate decision to turn his own son in, and within just 33 hours, an arrest was made.
Is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable.
In this video, we'll break down who Tyler Robinson is, how he was caught, the evidence that points to him, and the haunting, unanswered questions about his motive. And later, we'll dive into one disturbing detail investigators revealed, something that makes you stop and think, wait, what was really going through his mind?
Congratulations, you have been selected to receive the Resident Presidential Scholarship from Utah State University. The value of this scholarship is approximately $32,000. This scholarship is available for 4 years or 8 semesters.
Tyler Robinson wasn't a career criminal or someone who had fallen completely off society's radar. At just 22, he was enrolled in an electrical apprenticeship program at Dixie Technical College. Before that, he spent time at Utah State University and even took some courses at Utah Tech. By all accounts, he was a young man in the middle of building a future, school, work, family ties, but there were hints of something brewing beneath the surface. At a recent family dinner, Tyler reportedly expressed strong political opinions, even singling out Charlie Kirk by name. He described Kirk as hateful, words that now feel chilling in hindsight.
Investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson who stated that Robinson had become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. They talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints that he had.
This mix of ordinary life and radical thought is what makes his story so disturbing. It forces us to ask, what pushed him from angry words to alleged violent action? And here's something many people online are pointing out. Tyler Robinson's background doesn't match the stereotype of a radical outsider. His family are registered Republicans. His father is a minister and a former law enforcement officer. They have relatives in the military, and Tyler's parents even introduced him to firearms at an early age. For some, that raises an even harder question. How does someone raised in that environment end up accused of something like this? The shooting happened at Utah Valley University during a Charlie Kirk event. A single shot, fired from a building about 200 yards away, ended Kirk's life. Police acted fast. Surveillance cameras captured him arriving in a gray Dodge Challenger. Investigators say he even changed his clothing while on the roof, trying to disguise his movements before and after the attack, and then returned calmly to his car. Witnesses later confirmed seeing a man matching his description near the scene. Those images were released to the public.
Yes. So when he's first spotted on campus, he has different clothing on, and then he changes clothing on the roof, and then changed back into that clothing at some point, so that when he was apprehended, when he was arrested, the clothing matched the clothing he had on before the shooting here at UVU.
And here's the turning point. It wasn't facial recognition software or a random tip that identified him. It was his own father. Imagine that moment, seeing a blurry image on TV, realizing it's your son, and knowing what that means. Tyler's father contacted a youth pastor who was connected to the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force. Through that channel, authorities closed in. And here's where things took a twist. Tyler initially refused to surrender, but after pressure and negotiation, he was taken into custody about 33 hours after the shooting. What convinced authorities that Tyler Robinson was their suspect? The trail of evidence is both extensive and deeply unsettling. Investigators also heard from Robinson's own roommate, who revealed that Tyler had bragged online about retrieving a rifle from a hidden location, preparing it for use, and then concealing it again after the shooting.
Investigators identified an individual as the roommate of Robinson. Investigators interviewed that roommate, who stated that his roommate, referring to Robinson, made a joke on Discord. Investigators asked if he would show them the messages on Discord. He opened it and showed several messages to investigators and allowed investigators to take photos of the screen as each message was shown by Robinson's roommate. These photos consisted of various messages, including content of messages between the phone contact named Tyler with an emoji icon and Robinson's roommate's device. The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, messages related to visually watching the area where a rifle was left, and a message referring to having left the rifle wrapped in a towel.
But the most disturbing discovery came when police recovered spent bullet casings. They weren't ordinary, they had been engraved with taunting phrases, including one that read, "Hey fascist, catch."
I know there has been speculation as well as to the writing on those casings, those bullet casings, and I believe we have that as well. And I will share that with you now. So the area north of Campus Drive Road where the suspect crossed over, you saw some of that in the video that we released last night, consists of a grassy area with trees on the edge of the UVU campus. Investigators discovered a bolt-action rifle wrapped in a dark-colored towel. The rifle was determined to be a Mauser Model 98 30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle. The rifle had a scope mounted on top of it. Investigators noted inscriptions that had been engraved on casings found with the rifle. Inscriptions on a fired casing read, "Notices, bulges, capital OWO, what's this?" ? Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" ! Catch! Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow," and a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
That detail changes everything. It shows this wasn't just an act of violence. It was designed as a message, calculated, deliberate, and symbolic. Here's where the story takes a darker turn. Investigators say Robinson didn't just engrave those bullet casings. He may have talked about it beforehand in online chats. Think about that. Not only planning the killing, but almost narrating it, leaving a trail that suggested he wanted people to know exactly what he was doing and why. It raises the question, was he acting completely alone, or was there an online echo chamber fueling his decisions? Right now, investigators haven't confirmed either way, but that possibility adds a whole new layer to this tragedy. News of Robinson's arrest spread quickly. For Charlie Kirk's supporters, it was devastating. The loss of a leader they admired, someone who had built a national platform. For others, even critics, the killing sparked unease. It showed just how far political division can push someone. The death penalty is too kind for Tyler Robinson. Let him suffer like Brian Kohberger is. That man is in deep turmoil in prison, terrorized daily.
There are many people on social media right now suggesting that we need a death sentence and for it to be carried out publicly for a variety of reasons. Some say provides relief and comfort to the millions. It can help act as a pressure relief valve, but more importantly, to symbolize deterrence.
Leaders on both sides condemned the violence, and ordinary people, whether they agreed with Kirk or not, expressed shock that such a targeted, deliberate killing could happen at a public event in broad daylight. Right now, Tyler Robinson faces charges of aggravated murder, discharge of a firearm causing serious harm, and obstruction of justice. His first court appearance is expected soon. Prosecutors are building their case, and investigators are still combing through his background, digital history, and potential connections. But the biggest question still hangs over this case. Why? What exactly motivated him? Was it personal hatred, political radicalization, or something else entirely? Until that answer emerges, the story feels incomplete. Here's what we know for certain. Tyler Robinson, just 22 years old, has been arrested for the killing of Charlie Kirk. He was identified by his own father, taken into custody after a nationwide manhunt, and now faces evidence that points to careful, deliberate planning. But here's what we don't know, and what I want to hear from you about. What do you think truly motivated him? Was this purely personal, or was he influenced by something bigger? And how should justice be served if he's found guilty? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this is a conversation the whole country is having right now. We'll be covering every new development in this case, from court updates to potential sentencing, and yes, even the question of whether Tyler Robinson could face the death penalty. So if you want to stay ahead of the story, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what comes next, because the next detail could completely change how this case is understood.